Welcome back to the All Purpose Pod for an All Purpose Life, wherever you are today and however you're listening to the Call Me Mr. You, the podcast. Thank you again for making us as part of your morning, your day, and your week. With your weekly mirror check before you change the world. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter. And we're here with my man, Football Talk with Bo. What's up, baby? Good morning.
Good morning. Obviously a Monday morning.
Yes, absolutely. Live
awesome.
podcasting is fun. Give me a picture that says that. Live podcasting is fun because it's always fun. I don't care how many messages we have. I'm still having fun with this. I'm enjoying this. This is a blessing. All right. So let me go share something real quick and then we'll go ahead and jump into the show. But I've been thinking about perception, man, and perception is a strange lens to see things through, I guess, but it's the way of the human being, I guess. It's the way of regarding and understanding and interpreting something. Every human uses this tool, and every human is affected by the way that other humans use it. Is he the best in his field? Is she the greatest of all time? Is he a good father? Is she a faithful friend? Is he a pioneer? Is she ineffective because no one telling her she's doing a great job? Two folks can sit in the same room, receive the same education from the same instructor, both take notes, both have the same homework, same amount of time to complete the assignments, but can have both totally different views of their schooling and have totally different outcomes in life. We fight about media, entertainment, politics, how to raise children, how to save the world, how to save the country, and be better citizens because we have more, not because we have more or less knowledge than somebody else, but because we see everything through the lens of our own experiences. If one person, like say, for example, if one person repeatedly robbed and stolen from all of their life, even a little old lady that ain't bothering nobody looks just like a crook to them because of what they've been through. You can be loved and cherished your entire life, and the idea of somebody not liking you is hard to fathom. We have the same perception issue when it comes to sports, man. I want to jump into the Damian Lillard issue for a little bit because perception is kind of reality there too. But before we do that, help me out with this Aaron Judge situation I'm dealing with right now. I'm trying not to stress, but I got stuff going on. So should I be worried? Should I be worried about Aaron Judge? Here's what's going on right now.
So I want to touch on your first thing there first.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
On the perception, it's hilarious because I'm on Twitter all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have an app, and it just one of the little side things on it. It tells you how many people have blocked you, right?
Oh,
which is hilarious because I don't go after anybody, right? But then I think the number is like 65 people or something like that. And I was like, man, which of my sports takes hurt you so bad that you have to block me on Twitter? That is hilarious to me. So not really like a horrible perception, but funny. It makes me laugh. And I don't take offense to it. I don't take offense to it. I think it's hilarious, but it's just like, wow, okay. But to answer your next question, Aaron Judge, I mean, obviously it's unfortunate. I did see that, he released a statement that he's not going to pursue any legal action against, the Dodgers and their stadium for, for the door swinging open. I mean, stuff happens, right? So it's unfortunate for the Yankees. Is it going to be impactful to Judge's career? Probably not, but it's just another injury, right?
Gosh, I hope so. We are 40, I think, after last night's debacle, and I mean debacle. It was a defensive nightmare. I never said this before. I'm so sorry I watched that game. The rain delay was my way out of it because I couldn't take it anymore. It wasn't because we were. I don't know how to even describe what actually happened. If you didn't see the game last night, you may not understand it. But we had this game in hand. The series was in hand, and everything bad that happened was because of defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about bobbling stuff, misplaying balls. I mean, it was that kind of situation, and I mean, it resulted in about 6 runs that weren't there before. So even though the pitching, there were some opportunities there, the Cubs were getting some hits, but they weren't getting runs. I mean. It was a defensive nightmare. That's the best way to describe it. Now we're 49-42 right now. He's saying he's not going to have surgery. At least that's what he's thinking until the season's over. We're coming up on an all-star break.
So your team was out there filming the new major league. Is that what's going on?
I didn't know what's going on, man, but it was pretty rough to watch. This is a professional. It was hard to watch. I don't understand what was going on there, but unquestionably, in my opinion, all the biases set aside, I think he's the top 5 player in the league when he's healthy.
Yeah, well, it's that last part, right?
Yeah,
that's the key.
He played 49 games this season so far, and we're coming up on the break right now. I think we're officially at the break right now. I think we are. He was batting 291. He had like 19 homers and 51 hits. He was killing it. You know what I'm saying? And then he went out. It's just like now, it's like we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, a toe is like you think, oh, you know what? This guy 6'9" or whatnot. His toe should, he got to stand on it. So and run on it and chase balls with it.
It's different than like if you had turf toe or whatever, tape that thing up, like get out there. But a torn ligament, I mean, there's not a lot you can do with that. And if you have to rely on being able to like launch to be able to make a move on a ball or something like that, torn ligament, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So he's definitely going to miss, 2 months. I mean,
I can't see him at DH.
Well, even still, you still got to trot the bases, right? And then you got to push off in your swing. Like it's I think ultimately he ends up missing somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks. Just
thanks, Dr. Bo.
What's that?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Bo.
Hey, I've torn stuff.
6 to 8 weeks. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking all weekend. What can the team do? I know we're heading up on, I guess, some semblance of a trade deadline. I have no idea when that even starts. I'm totally out of the loop on that one. But DJ LeMahieu, he's batting 220, 61 hits in 277 at bats. That's not good. We owe him $15 million a year until 2027. Josh Donaldson, the ire of all Yankee fans, basically. He's batting 146. Owe him $27 million a year. He had 14 hits in 96 at-bats, which is like a really, really low.
That's rough.
Do the math.
That is rough.
Giancarlo Stanton, batting 203. 30 hits and 148 at-bats. We owe the man $140 million for the next 5 years. Clearly, I just named a few of the veterans. People talk about Rizzo and stuff. I'm not really – I'm okay with Rizzo, but veterans are struggling. And I just found out, matter of fact, when I was working on the show, it came across my news feed that the hitting coach, Dylan Lawson, got canned.
Well, and if I remember right, Stanton wasn't
playing for all of this, right?
Well, Stanton wasn't playing great before they gave him that new deal anyway, right?
Wasn't playing great in Miami either, but that's just another story.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I didn't really get that one anyway.
I didn't get it either. There's clearly when I watch the game, this is what I don't know what you see, but this is what I see. I see a lack of plate discipline. That bothers me a lot. So I feel like the hitting coach does play a part in that.
Sure.
But Aaron Boone, that man's like Teflon. He's avoiding getting the axe to it. I don't know how that's possible. But I watch it every single game. If a leadoff batter or somebody who's at the top of the lineup to start the inning off, and they hit a home run, every batter after that, know what they're doing? They're hacking away at everything.
Absolutely.
This could be not unique to baseball, and maybe everybody's doing it. I'm watching Yankee games, so that's why I can see it then. It happens every single time. If that leadoff batter hits a home run or a triple, whatever it is, the next guy's up. All of them. Not one, all. They're hacking away at everything. Hit pitches in the dirt. They're swinging at it. Pitches that are high up in the shoulder area. They're swinging at those like you're really going to hit those. I mean, it's a lack of play discipline. So I just feel as though that the hitting coach does play a part in that. I'm not quite sure if it's a fireable offense. I'm not really sure about that. I don't know how you feel about that.
So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that the hitting coach should get blamed on that entirely. I seriously doubt he's sending batters out there saying try and dent cars with balls. I would imagine he's trying to get them prepared to play however they're going to. But I mean, they got to make that decision when they're at the plate.
Copy that.
So I get that if somebody goes out and blasts one into the upper deck, that you want yours too. But, you know, you got to have some baseball IQ and get out there, and small ball wins a lot of games. So if you don't have your pitch, make contact, get on base, you know, you got another at bat coming.
It's a smart decision, but does that work for a big market team like the Yankees? Do they feel as though that's the smart, or are they trying to outgun everybody? That could be part of the problem.
So the thing is on a stat sheet, sure, home runs look awesome. As a fan, wins look awesome.
Copy that. I don't know the reason why that Lawson got canned, but this is some of the stats that they have. I think the Yankees are tied for 18th in the league and runs scored. You know how many leagues, how many teams are in the league, so you can do the math on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
18th, 28th in batting average.
No, I believe that.
At the bottom, baby.
Yeah, no, I believe that. Well, because everybody's swinging for the fence, so there's a lot of strikeouts.
Absolutely, and 21st in OPS. That's near the bottom percentile too.
That's rough.
The last 91 games, 21st. No. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
So I don't know that's the reason why Lawson got the can, but Boone, I don't know how you're escaping it, but brother, you are next. Where's Goldberg? I need him.
So the thing that is interesting is I was reading a thing about a week ago that Boone doesn't even have free reign of his batting order. Like, he gets his batting order dictated to him sometimes. That's crazy to me that your manager doesn't set your lineup.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was reading a thing about it. I forget where I saw it. It was either I want to say it was like a Bleacher Report or something like that. But it was don't quote me on that because I don't remember exactly the publication I saw it on. But yeah, I was reading that. I was like, that's insane if your manager isn't setting your batting lineup. And if that's the case, how much of it can even stick to Boone at that point? Like, you're a figurehead. You're basically Jason Garrett, right? Just out there clapping.
That's fair. But that absolves Boone of nothing, in my opinion. He doesn't escape this. I watched a whole bunch of stuff that he's done beside the whole lineup setup, and
sure,
a lot of fans don't like it, and I think a lot of fans are really tired of it. Here's my man here this morning already with the wires cracks. Chicks dig the long ball.
Oh, I mean, he's not wrong.
Here we go.
He's not wrong.
I'm starting to show off. Oh my goodness. Let's try to finish. So, as far as trade value goes, I just read off three of the main guys that are commandeering the most money on the team. Mm-hmm. Clearly, you can tell they're not tradable assets. All right. So all that's left is guys like IKF and Gleyber Torres. I don't think Beta's on the block at all. I don't think we're going to trade him at all. But Gleyber Torres probably has the most tradability, but he's the most productive hitter too. Pound for pound, he's the most productive guy on the team as far as hitting consistency. So we can trade him, obviously. So I don't know how we can't be sellers because that won't work.
Yep.
We are 49 and 42. It's not like we're in the dumps with 49 and 42. We got a chance to still battle for a wild card in the division. I mean, wild card.
Yep.
We're facing our division rivals in the wild card race, which is not great, but it is what it is. So what do? We have to add somewhere. I think what you said was the key. What you said earlier was the key, Bo, about small ball and but the kind of the youth movement. I think that's the key for us. Because
I mean, you're kind of stuck money wise. I mean, you kind of unfortunately, I don't know that you guys can really add anything. It doesn't make sense to dump the things that you could dump. So, because guys that are commanding big money that aren't producing don't have much as far as, trade value. So I think you're kind of where you are, and you have to, I guess, ultimately get some better coaching to get better production out of what you have.
Yeah. I know that there's always a lure to call guys up. I mean, Peraza's down there. I think they may eventually call him up, but I don't know if that's the answer. I think just some pieces around what we got going on, maybe that might help. Maybe some guys in depth. I mean, honestly, as much as I watch this team, I don't really know the answer. Honestly,
and calling guys up is tough anyway, because they could be killing it in their AAA team, and then you come up and all of a sudden you're playing the best of the best, and you're not batting 400 anymore against cupcake pitching. Like you're going against dudes that are no joke.
Copy that. So let's kind of jump into the conversation we were having earlier about superstars.
Mm-hmm.
This now, when I say superstar, what do you immediately think of? I'm not asking you, bro. Just asking this a general question. When I say superstar, what do you immediately think of? To me, I may be an outlier. Maybe I'm just totally off my rocker, getting old, senile, don't know what I'm talking about. But when I hear superstar, I'm not thinking about 15, 20 different people.
No.
I'm talking about in all of sports combined. I'm talking about hockey. I'm talking about the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL. I'm not thinking about superstars. And I don't have that many of them. And maybe it's just me because, in my opinion, I said it to you earlier, I said, I don't think that we can all be superstars. I don't think it's possible. How do you have how many guys do they roster on a basketball team? Probably about what, 15, something like that?
Yeah, 15.
They can't all be superstars. You can't have 9 guys on the baseball field and they all no.
I mean,
it seems as though people think that these are all superstars. Or
think about it this way. Think about it this way, right? You have all-star games, right? Mm-hmm. And so take basketball, for example. You have an all-star game. There's 15 players on that team. There's probably one superstar on each team, right? The rest of them are stars, right? They're very good. They're, probably all NBA, whatever, but that doesn't equate to being a superstar. That means you are a star, an MVP, whatever, but superstar is kind of its own thing. Like that's the Michael Jordans, the LeBrons, those are superstars. Like they change the league in some way. So it's in baseball, like when you think back to when the Mariners were good, Griffey, right? The superstar, hands down, right?
Absolutely. But even Ichiro.
Yeah, Ichiro, superstar for sure. But again, those are guys that changed the leagues in some way, right? Like they not only contributed at the highest level on the field, but then there were things that about their leagues that kind of had to make a shift to accommodate what it is they were bringing.
Right. I mean, if you look at the definition of it, I mean, I read the definition over and over again the entire weekend. I'm like, I don't know if this even helps at all, but it's somebody that's extremely talented, obviously, somebody who has great public appeal, and somebody who can command a high salary. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you give a bum 4 years and $60 million because that's the market.
Sure.
Is he a superstar automatically?
No, because they're handing out money before people even do anything on the field at this point. Like it's something that's something that really changed about sports kind of in general, but certainly like basketball is a great example of this. Is it used to be you had to come into the league and prove something to get paid. And now they're handing out a bag before these guys ever step foot on the floor. I mean, could you imagine being a franchise and you're handing somebody $100 million that's never played a game and you're just hoping it pans out? Like, sign me up for that. I can go and be a flame out in any sport if you're going to hand me $100 million.
Unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense. Let's see if we try to have a little exercise here. This may be a dumpster on fire, but we'll go for it. So let's see if we can try to grab a superstar from all 4 of the major sports.
Okay.
I'm not naming certain people coming to mind for me. So let's try the hardest one first. I don't watch a whole lot of NHL. Maybe you can help out with that. Superstar in the NHL right now.
Man, I don't even know if I could pick one right now.
I'm not sure I can either, but we're going to.
Yeah, I mean, there's very good, very
good.
I don't get one. And I mean, more avid NHL watchers would probably be able to help you there.
I got guys. I mean, I know guys, but it's like I don't know if they really even superstars. I mean, I can think about Ovechkin.
Okay.
He comes to mind. Is he a superstar though?
Well, that's the thing. Is I
don't know.
There's nobody jumping off the page for me, NHL wise.
Sidney Crosby, his name has been out there for many years. Is he a superstar?
I mean, I guess by the definition that you read, it's sure. I guess.
All right.
But in my mind, probably not.
Let's move off of that one then. How about let's go to the Major League Baseball conversation. Superstar on top of your head right now, and please don't say Bryce.
Anybody? No, it's Ohtani for sure.
Ohtani. That makes sense to me. That was the first thing I was thinking about. I lean towards Judge's work, and that's just where I'm at. I mean,
Judge makes sense. Judge makes sense.
I'm not naming one guy on every team. I don't think it's there.
Well, I don't think there is one guy on every team. I think there's about 3 or 4 dudes.
You couldn't tell though. The media would have you believe.
Sure, yeah, but the media
had you believe.
The media makes up all kinds of stuff. Like on a slow sports news day, there's a lot of wild takes. So
let's try the NFL. That should be easy, right? Or maybe it's not easy. Maybe it's hard because everybody's glamorous and doing touchdown dances and stuff. I mean,
the clear superstar there is Mahomes.
Clear.
I mean, yeah.
I like Mahomes there.
Yeah.
Mahomes there.
I mean, there's other guys you could say for sure, but Mahomes would obviously be that guy, right? Like a couple of Super Bowls, couple of Super Bowl MVPs, a couple of he got a league MVP. So I mean, like that's actually what exemplifies a superstar in my mind, really, right? Okay. Like he's getting all the personal accolades, all of the team accolades, changes the way that you look at the sport, stuff like that. So, I mean,
that's well deserved.
Yeah.
If I was in the AFC and I was thinking about the AFC, I would definitely say that part.
For sure.
Why do I have a problem or struggle with finding that in the NFC? Am I missing somebody?
No, the NFC doesn't have.
I'm not saying Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry for all the Eagles fans that are listening. I'm not saying him as a superstar. Sorry. I'm just not going to do it. I can't.
Well, not yet anyway.
So who am I missing in there? It's definitely not Dak Prescott. So who am I missing?
Well, that's the thing is I don't know that there really is one on that side of the ball. Like in that division in that division,
does that line up what you see, especially when football season starts on your Twitter feed, what you hear from the media? Do you feel as though there's no superstar in the NFC? Because it doesn't seem like it. Like there's a whole bunch of them, but I don't see it.
Well, no, because the thing
superstar, I just don't see it.
And you won't. Like it's
Rodgers either, to be honest with you.
You got a few guys that have the potential to become that, but they're just not there yet, right? So they're stars, they're not superstars, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're good, could be great. We just haven't seen it yet. So, and you can't deem someone a superstar based on potential, right? Otherwise, guys like Ryan Leaf would have been a superstar before Marcus Russell or whatever, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to wait until you see the stuff on the field. And did Jalen Hurts have a great year? Sure. It was one, though. So let's see what he's got. You can't say it about Justin Fields. Like that's a potential. Like he potentially could be that guy, but we haven't seen that yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, his offensive line was so bad. We don't even know if he can throw the ball, really. So, I mean, on the NFC side, there's really not a superstar to speak of. There's a lot of very good, but we'll see if they can evolve into something. The AFC side, there's a couple of guys that you could probably move into that area. Obviously, Mahomes is that front runner, but Josh Allen, he brings some things. Joe Burrow obviously brings some things. So those are things, guys that can be in that conversation. Obviously, Mahomes is the far and away the guy.
You do either one of those, Bo. I can't.
I know you can as a New York fan, but
why? That's not why, Bo. I don't see it from the definition that we're talking about. I don't see that. Josh Allen, his name could be in Buffalo, he's probably a deity at this point. But
well, I'm just saying you can make an argument for him, but not ahead of Mahomes.
I don't see. I mean, these faces got to transcend their sport.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, I could be wrong now. I mean, I read the definition off, but maybe you guys got a different definition. Enlighten going out. Let us know what a superstar is to you. Because if there's somebody in there beside Mahomes, that's a superstar. Matter of fact, it's gonna be our poll question once we close off the show on our Twitter feed. Is there a superstar beside Mahomes in the NFL? Please, by all means, enlighten me because I have no idea who that is. It's not Justin Herbert, and it's not Josh Allen, it's not Joe B either. It's not. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's not. These are not superstars. We throw that word around too much. It's overused for real. And it's not, I don't see it. Is there anybody else we're missing?
I mean, not really. Not really. I can't think of any, position players that you would really elevate to that level. Yeah, I mean,
this is harder than you thought.
No. I mean, it's I agree with you in the way that there just isn't very many. Like I wouldn't throw that one around. I was just saying that you could make a case for those two only because they do change how people game plan for their teams. But
that sounds like all.
Well, exactly. And that's why I say like the clear favorite is Mahomes because he checks every box as far as being a superstar. Whereas when you look at Joe Burrow and, Josh Allen, or even if you're doing position players like, a Tyreek or Justin Jefferson or, like, I don't know. None of those guys to me are changing the league in any way.
I think that sport is tough because it requires other people in order for you to have success.
For sure.
I think
and that's where, and that's why I made that, statement for Mahomes is he's doing all of the individual accolades and all the team accolades because you need those, right? Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be talking about Jordan being the best ever if he didn't win 6, right? Like if he went in and took 6 fat L's in the finals, we wouldn't be saying he was the best to ever do it. It's why Jim Kelly isn't touted as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, right? He made it to 4 Super Bowls. He just didn't win any of them. Had he went 4 for 4, all of a sudden he's in that conversation with Montana.
And MJ had movies and shoes too. So, I mean,
absolutely.
Go across the country. I mean, in China, they knew who he was,
For sure.
But that really plays a part.
But are you buying the shoe of almost got it done? Probably not.
Probably not. I don't even know who that is. He sounds horrible. Another comment from our friends at the Herb and Raj podcast. Jefferson and Hurt have potential, but we need long-term results to get them superstar label. I just feel like if Jefferson's a superstar, you got to give part of it to the person throwing him the ball. That's a tough.
Sure.
Tough.
That's where it's tough for that's where it's tough for players, right? Now a guy like you could kind of make a case for a guy like Aaron Donald, right? Because he does change a lot of things. He's been he's been to the Pro Bowl every year he's been in the league. I think he's been an All-Pro like 7 of those years. I could be wrong on the number, but I mean, absolutely insane stats. He basically lives in a double team, so everybody has to scheme for him, commands a lot of money, is exactly what you want in in that guy. So I mean,
the sport?
What's that?
Did he transcend the sport?
The position, I could say, the whole sport. Again, that's another one where it's tough because defensive players are a little bit of unsung heroes in that way. I mean, think of years past, Ray Lewis would be a superstar. Does he transcend the sport? Probably not. But if he's on the field, that there is a lot of time that week prior planning for just that guy.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, I think back to I want to go into rabbit hole. Get ready to push the entrance.
That's all podcasting is, man, is a rabbit hole.
I know it. I mean, I go back to the times where I thought football was really, really good. Yep. And it was, there were wide receivers. I could say, you know what? These guys are superstars. It was just different. And I don't really know why exactly. It was just different then.
So
Reggie White to me was superstars to me, but it was just different. And I don't really know why. I mean, if you go back, people might say, Randy Moss and T.O. were superstars. I'm like, okay, somebody throwing the ball though, but it felt different then than it does now. I don't really know why exactly. Maybe it's the personalities. Maybe it was just.
It's actually a rule change is why it's different now.
Okay.
Because you had a guy like T.O. or Moss or Megatron or Jerry Rice or, any of those guys, right? And yeah, they were superstars because they were on the field. Their number 2 was like most of the time you couldn't even tell me who their number 2 was, right? Like they were the guy. And now, because everything is so hyper focused on the passing game and scoring points and taking away any ability to really play defense, now it's gotten to a spot where those yardage totals per game don't mean anything anymore because the rules have changed to make it so you can throw 300 to 500 yards during a game. Whereas if you had a 300 or 400 yard game back, especially in Jerry Rice days, like you were killing it.
Right.
So it's like basketball now, right? You compare it to the 90s and tons of games ended in, the high 80s, right? High 80 points. And then you get to the All-Star game where nobody really played defense and it was like 120. Well, now games are 120 every night because nobody plays defense. So so now when you're looking like in that sport for sure, all of a sudden career point totals, it's like, well, yeah, because they're open shots a lot. Like, yeah, you got to get to your spot, whatever. But I mean, you're not getting beat up. So I don't know. It's just different. And I think that's why you kind of view the receivers different because they get contested balls sometimes, but they don't get all the hand fighting that used to be allowed. And then you're catching stuff across the middle now, whereas before you were worried about, a middle linebacker coming and ruining your career, right? So you had a lot of like alligator arms because you knew that hit was coming, and that's why so many things across the middle didn't get caught. Now, if you look at someone wrong, that's a 15-yarder on top of wherever the ball was. So, it's just different.
Let's move on, man. So this is kind of the topic of the day. That was the intention anyway. But Dame forcing himself to the Heat.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that one all week as well. I'm like, wow. So it's just there's a lot of layers to this, and hopefully you can help me kind of sort it all out. But is this hypocritical? Is this cowardice? Or is there a third option? What are we talking about here that's happening? First off, do you know what happened? Are you up to speed with what took place?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's unfortunate for Dame in the way that he built his persona of, I want to be here. I want to win a ring here. And anytime you brand yourself as the good guy and then you force your way out, you get a lot of backlash, right? Like Russell Wilson got vilified because he's like, I want to be in Seattle forever. And then he's like, just kidding. Deuces, yo. And bounce.
You mentioned that.
But A-Rod did the same thing to the Mariners, right? He's like, oh, I want to be here. And then he signed a $272 million contract with the Rangers.
Yeah, so, A-Rod was essentially the devil in that scenario for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so unfortunately for Dame, he wanted to be the team guy. And at the end of the day, they drafted his replacement. And if you're the star player, they draft basically you, just a younger version of you. Yeah, you probably want to try and get out while you can. It's his actions from that point that I think is really leaving a bad taste in people's mouth, which is, I'm only going to play in Miami. And man, that hurts. That hurts the team a lot because it takes any of their, negotiating power away because, his agent came out and said, if anyone else trades for him, they're going to have an unhappy player. Well, that basically eliminates about, half of the league that was even remotely interested. And, are you a team that's going to come take a flyer on a guy that has already said he doesn't want to play for you? I mean, that is not a great scenario to start in.
Bad scenario. I think one of the biggest things that went wrong, you mentioned it too, is that he started talking in absolutes.
Mm-hmm.
Most professional athletes that I've seen or that I paid any attention to anyways, they don't do that.
Yep.
They play, and when their contract comes up, they let the agent do the talking. They don't say stuff publicly. They don't proclaim what team they're going to go to and start a super team.
Yep.
They don't do any of that stuff. They keep that stuff under wraps and keep it in the boardroom where it belongs.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it behind closed doors where it belongs. Saying you're going to play for somebody for the rest of your career, it's really a bad move, because what that also does is if you have that kind of organization, and I won't name anybody, I can, but I won't, who may want to take advantage of that and say, you know what?
Sure.
He said he's going to be with us forever, and they start taking liberties and start doing things that you might not like, kind of start screwing you around.
Well,
or doing things that's not in your best interest is a better way of putting it.
For sure.
It's like he should never, when he opened his mouth and said that opened Pandora's box.
Well,
he's on the other end of it now, saying he's going to only play for this particular team. Out of all the teams in the league, that's the one he's going to pick. The one that just came out of the NBA Finals and almost won it.
Yep.
I guess. Kinda.
Yeah.
What a bad look that is. It's bad across the board.
For sure.
He was the good guy. He was the one guy that I don't care who. If it was anybody else, forgive me if I forget your name. But he was the only person I can recall that was kind of that good guy. Like, you know what? I'm going to play with this team my entire career.
Sure.
I ain't never going to leave. I'm going to be loyal, unlike other people. And kind of almost like jabs at people.
Yep.
And he was always that guy whose name, number one, always came up, saying they're going to stay on this team for their full career, like the old legends used to do back in the day.
Yep.
They can't do now for some reason. He was kind of the old school brought into the new school in doing that. And now he says, I want to trade. I want you to trade me to this team that just played in the NBA Finals. Out of all the teams in the league that are viable, that are one player away from this team that I hate is one player away from a championship. One.
Yep.
And the Heat really wasn't that, because they were already there and didn't win it.
Exactly.
But that's where you want to go. Ooh, bad look across the board, man. It looks.
I mean, only sort of. That's no different than what Durant did to get,
And look at his name,
Warriors.
Blood, dude.
Yeah,
it's more everywhere he goes.
Yeah, that's a little different because he spends so much time on burner accounts responding to people that are just literally they're trolling him. So, like some of it you got to be thicker skinned about, I think. but yeah, no, I mean it's not a great look, and it's just not gonna be.
Yeah, we get some comments coming in about this Dame situation. Oh my goodness, this is. I don't know if you and I are 50-50 on this, man, but I think this is really bad because now it looks as though either Portland has to hold on and have him there saying what he said.
Yep.
All these players that they're trying to keep and piece together. And by the way, Scoop is hurt. Totally unrelated, but he's hurt, and we don't know how bad he's hurt until his MRI comes in. So, hey, just tossing that out there.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Jeremy Grant, 5-year deal, right? Why'd they give him that? Because he was awesome, or because they wanted him to be a point of continuity, providing that Dame is still going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
can't get out of that one now, can you?
No, like it's not a great scenario for Portland. And as this continues on, it gets worse because at the end of the day, Miami, they know they're the only players, so they don't have to offer a lot because they were already in the finals. So they'd be like, okay, cool, we'll give you this and we'll take Dame or not. We were already in the finals and we think we can run it back. So yeah. I don't know.
That, but okay.
I don't think they're good enough. What's that?
I'm not a basketball expert. What do I know? I don't even
No. I'm just saying that Miami probably thinks they can run it back. I mean, they were in the show. They do. I think they need a piece, of course, but I don't think they're going to give up the house to bring Dame in.
Well, I know Butler and Adebayo is not going anywhere, so that's what I'm trying to put Charlie Hero. That's all they really have to give away.
Yeah.
This is a hot mess. We got a question from one of our listeners, man. So we're gonna go ahead and touch this. This is kind of a par for the course for the discussion we were going to have last week that we didn't get a chance to have. But Io sent us a question. Thank you for doing that, sir. Does Chris Paul hurt or help the Warriors? I'll jump in real quick on that one, give you a chance to think about it. But for me, I think it helps in a couple of ways. One, because it's an expiring contract, so it's not going to cost them a lot of money long term to keep them around. I think most of the big hitters on the Warriors, their contracts end in 2026 and 2027, so they're all around for a little while. So he kind of brings that leadership aspect. The only thing about this is that I guess CP3 being there is supposed to help if and when Curry needs to spell or he's limited or injured because they play the same position.
Yep.
So he's basically there as if I'm not mistaken, unless they change something in the depth chart, he's there as a backup to Steph. So that means that when Steph is playing, CP3 is on the bench. So if Curry's been hurt a couple of times, so that might be one of the reasons why, but it's gonna be that's a tough answer. I would say in some ways it helps, but I don't know if I don't know if Curry is cooking it and he needs to take a break. CP3 can be helpful out there in the interim. I don't think it's a really big move, to be honest with you. It wasn't like, oh, this is a mind-blowing move. This is going to take you to the championship. I never really felt that way. But that's my personal opinion. He didn't replace Jordan Poole because, like I said, it's two different situations. But what do you think, man? Does CP3 hurt or help the Warriors by being there?
Yeah, so I think he helps.
Okay.
And obviously he brings a leadership to the team. Obviously he does play the same position as Steph, but he plays a different style of ball. So it allows them to do some different things with their offense. Obviously he's a great pick and roll guy. It's something the Wizards don't really, or not Wizards.
Well, that's what Poole is now.
Man.
Enjoy watching. You love it out there.
But it's a thing that Golden State hasn't particularly done well. So, and as you're looking at Steph getting older, there's going to be some spots where you want to preserve him since he has gotten hurt a couple of times at this point. So you're going to filter those two guys kind of in with each other to get both of them rest because, again, they both tend to get hurt towards the end of the season.
Absolutely.
You can take some minutes away from Steph, and then obviously he's he's also going to be playing less minutes than he was with the Suns. Mm-hmm. So I think it helps. I think it works well for the fact that they're both older players at this point. But it's not some mind-blowing move. Do I think it's going to be a huge, they're definitely a championship favorite? Definitely not. They also didn't get bigger. So when they're playing against bigger teams, they don't have the bigs to go out there and bang away. So I don't think it was a huge move. I do think it's, smart to have another guy that is a great facilitator, especially when, he's going to be out there playing with a lot of the bench players. He'll be able to run that second team. So I think ultimately it was a good move.
Yeah. I think one of the things that could be a little bit underrated, but I know that one of the things that made me kind of concerned about the Suns in making that deal was that CP3, he handled a lot of the ball carrying responsibilities that Devin Booker didn't have to because Booker was having some problems in that area. Now he doesn't have that safeguard anymore. So now he's out there having to handle the ball handling again. It's like, ooh, How's that going to turn out? But now CP3 bring that to the Warriors, and it's like you said, that with that second team, that might help out with some of that stuff because the continuity and being a ring general, that's going to be helpful. I watched those last few playoff games that they played, and ball handling was an issue.
Yep. Yeah.
There was a lot. I don't know what the number is. I'm not even going to try to look it up, but I remember with my own eyes, there was a lot of turnovers.
Worst in the league.
In that series. It was worse in the league?
Yeah.
I can believe that. It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it made it really hard to even watch a playoff game. I was like, I struggle with the NBA since it's not the 90s. I struggle with it anyway. Mm-hmm. But that made it even worse. Like, wow, this is awful to watch. It was back and forth constantly. I'm like, oh my God.
That was one of the things when they traded, a Poole away, right? Is he was turning the ball over like crazy. So I forget what I forget what the number was, but he was the worst on the team as far as turnovers. And then, so anytime Steph wasn't on the floor, they were like minus 10 point differential anytime Steph left. So I figure they're looking at it as, even if Chris Paul can just make it 0, right? A plus minus 0 when Steph leaves the floor, that's a huge improvement over last season.
I'm sure they'll change it. But one more question about Dame, and then we move on. We should get some questions about that from the Herb and Raj podcast. Miami lost too much to running back. I think they're waiting on Dame. Also said,
I mean, you might be right.
Also said that Dame doesn't want to play with youngsters. I'm like, okay. They should have traded him before the draft.
Yeah.
Point, I mean, Herb and Raj. Good point.
He's LeBron now?
I don't know where he would go. He wouldn't play with youngsters. But the current makeup, and you know how it is after a championship, they start making changes, they're making moves. Are he going to have the same team, or they're going to have a bunch of youngsters in there? I don't really know if he's. I didn't hear the comment, but if he said that, he's taking yet another bullet and putting it in the gun and aiming it at himself.
Pretty much.
I don't know what's going on with that. But is there a best landing spot for Dame, in your opinion? Better than the Heat, or is the Heat the best option, or is it just staying in Portland? What's the best?
I mean, based on what he's done now, he really only has those two options, right? He's going to be either in Miami or he's going to be in Portland because he's basically alienated the rest of the league.
Come on, man. There's nowhere else he can go after he can help win a championship. This is just fantasy, man. It may not even happen. This is just fantasy talk.
For sure. Yeah, no, Poole had to go. Poole definitely had to go.
What about Dame, though? Where can he go? Fantasy NBA, where he go and they can win a championship? Where can he go?
And win a championship?
Yeah. He's that one piece they need. What team is that?
Man.
Besides the Heat. Sounds hard, isn't it?
It is hard. Just because you got to think of what he brings and how he plays, if it even works with some of the other rosters.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not the Lakers either. In case anybody was wondering, don't put in the comments the Lakers because it's not that. I'm not putting that on the air. I'm not putting it on the screen. It's not the Lakers.
You know what would be interesting though?
Okay, what?
To send him over to the Spurs. He doesn't want to play with youngsters, but if you were just saying skill set, put him over there with the Spurs to be next to Wemby, because now you got a tall guy. Now, granted, what we've seen out of the summer league from him, especially game 1 wasn't amazing.
Yesterday was better.
Yeah, yesterday was better. I still don't particularly love a 7'4" guy jacking up threes a ton. Just because that makes you out of position to get a lot of offensive boards. He gets defensive boards and he gets blocks and stuff, right? But I want to see some more offensive boards out of him. And if he's the one tossing up a 3, like, you're just way out of position. So if you have a 7'4" guy jacking up a 3 and then your rebounder is 6'2", I feel like schematically that's not super smart.
Yeah. We got a couple of suggestions about where Dame can go. Somebody, where Herb and Raj talked about Philly and Boston. I'm like, okay. So
yeah, well, Philly makes sense. I don't think Boston does.
Yeah.
Lakers, man.
I just don't feel like they're one player away. Maybe it's just me.
I don't think they're a Dame away. Like maybe they're a player away, but I don't think they're Dame away.
Let's keep the train moving, man. Let's keep it moving.
That being said, I did want to touch on your point earlier about the Suns. So I don't think the Suns got better in this deal either, because now they have 3 dudes that are all the same guy in a way, right? Because you look at Booker and Beal and KD, and they all like a mid-range to or beyond the arc. And they don't have a facilitator, and they didn't add any bench. So I don't see how they get any better from where they were last year.
I don't see it.
Near as I can tell, this move makes them a first-round exit yet again.
And they trust Ayton way too much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't more every offseason about whether they want to keep him. And I'm like, is he good or is he not good? It's just a number of things I'm really concerned about. I'm not a Suns fan by any means, but the spotlight's on him because KD went over there thinking that he was going to be the piece.
Well, and you gotta trust that Beal and KD are going to stay healthy. I mean, it could just be Booker out there by himself.
So maybe the Suns are one Beal away. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know about all that.
Let's go a little bit into the NBA trade demand. I asked a question on our Twitter feed. What was the worst trade demand you can remember? What comes to mind for you? I have one that it's not the worst, but it's funny because it benefited us. But I was thinking about Eli Manning and the Chargers. That was so funny to me.
Sure.
That Eli's father, whose first name I'm blanking out on right now, but it's been a long morning already. But anyway, Eli Manning's father. Google it, right? Yep. Whatever his first name is, right? He told the Chargers that in no way, shape, or form does he want his son to play for the Chargers, who were basically also Rams, I guess, in his mind. He said, my son's not playing for them. So he essentially bargained to have a trade made where the Chargers would take Phillip Rivers instead, and Manning would fall to us.
I mean, it worked out
well. Got 2 championships out of it, but it was just that wasn't the worst trade demand. There's actually worse ones than that. I mean, even the ones that were going on with Jimmy Butler in Minnesota, that was rough.
Here's one for you.
That was rough.
Le'Veon Bell.
He
basically ended his career by doing it.
That was, I don't know if we could even include Antonio Brown, and the names on the names.
Well, so
is that the same thing?
AB was different because that dude, after that perfect hit, I think was never right in the head again.
He wanted to leave, and he said it publicly. Was that like same thing as a demand?
I mean, yeah, but when you look back on that career, if you're bouncing out of a stadium like this after ripping your pads off, I don't know that you view it the same anymore. I think he did those teams a favor, but the Lev Bell one sticks out to me only because he was killing it with the Steelers, forces his way out, and basically became irrelevant. And ultimately, his career was kind of over.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving did something along the same lines in Brooklyn with a trade demand. I think Kawhi did with San Antonio too. There were some problems with that. I think something revolving around the injury that he had and how the Spurs felt about it.
Yeah.
It kind of had a little it reminded me of Hakeem Olajuwon and his injury, and that's for a trade from the Rockets. And they wouldn't give him the trade, which is good because they won 2 championships after that. But they were kind of concerned about whether he was really injured or not, and Hakeem took it personal and asked to be traded. So really funny stuff there. But somebody, my guy KF, dropped this from Twitter about Danny Ferry. I forgot about that until he reminded me. I'm like, wow. So he went number 2 overall to the Clips. He talked about just staying on his face because he wanted to go to the Clippers. He wanted to, instead go play overseas. Instead, I'm like, wow, this is the Clippers got to be bad when somebody would rather go to overseas than play for you.
I mean, they were bad though.
I know. He gave us a really long comment, a whole bunch of information. Thanks, KF, for all this stuff. It's really good, man. And talk about how his rights got traded to the Cavs. Ron Harper, I forgot that name. Good stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
He became one of the most disliked players in Cleveland history. Signed a 10-year guarantee contract. I don't remember this. I forgot this part. 10-year guarantee contract averaging over 10 points a game twice in his 10 seasons.
Oh man,
Josh, I forgot. I remember Danny's favor. I don't remember that part
underperforming.
at all. Wow, he signed a 10-year guaranteed contract and averaged 10 points a game twice in 10 years.
Man, that is rough.
Sorry to laugh at you, Mr. Ferry, but that is funny.
Wow.
That is LOL funny right there.
Yeah, I did not remember that, but that is brutal.
That is god awful. Wow.
I mean,
I got one more question before we go into our
it makes sense though, because Cleveland was bad forever.
I know, man, but this shows that financial issues and mismanagement didn't just start this year.
Oh no, I mean
it's going on for a while.
That's just Cleveland sports across the board.
10 points a game twice. Wow. Like you said earlier, man, pay us that. You know what we can do with that?
I can be terrible for 10 mil a year.
Wow. That's funny. I want to drop a question. Probably won't have a whole lot of time to get into it, but I want to drop a question, then get into our game before we close out. If you were Joel Embiid, now here's Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic. Mm-hmm. Joel has a 4-year deal, I think $213 million until 2027. Mm-hmm. Luka Doncic, 5-year deal, $215 million until 2027 also. Now, there's been some rumors about it, but I haven't heard anything concrete. But if you were either of these guys, who's making the best move by demanding a trade right now out of these two guys? You can pick neither if you want to, but A, Joel Embiid, B, Luka Doncic, or C, neither. Or D, both.
I mean, again, like I'm a little bit older, so I just hate the force your way out of places. Probably Luka, I would think.
Why is that? Because of Kyrie?
Yeah.
Any additional thoughts?
No, I think that name really sums it up.
Oh, poor Luka. I can only imagine what he's thinking. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
This is not a big two situation to me. It's like this is just
no, that's exactly what he's thinking. He's just like
nobody can stay on the Mavericks and make it work, man. I mean, I'm glad Dirk got out with his sanity.
Right?
It's just so much stuff, Chris. Well, I guess I take that as Luka because I was kind of thinking the same thing, and then I thought about the James Harden situation. I think he opted in, but I read something after that said they're trying to work out a long-term deal.
Well, I think he opted in because there was a chance at a trade, so it was kind of a way to an exciting trade kind of deal.
To the Knicks. Please don't come to the Knicks. Please don't come to the Knicks. We don't want you.
No, I mean, if he can embrace being a role player at this point, I think he'd be all right. But if he's still trying to be that guy, man, wherever he goes is going to be hurting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got one more question from YouTube. Top 3 NFL quarterbacks going into 2023 season. Well, we already named the superstar. He's number one for sure.
Mahomes for sure. Yep.
After that, we'll take a little bit of it.
So, I mean, that's tough because it kind of, you almost need some more context on this question. So, are you basing this on what their success this season's going to be, or just like skill level? Because if it's success-wise, then you have to throw Jalen in there because that's the clear favorite on the NFC side, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go for that third slot, I mean, it could be a Burrow, it could be a Tua. That third slot is harder to find because there's a lot of competition on the AFC side, which is where that third QB would be coming from, right?
I'm going to say that, but yeah, I think with the, I'm probably guessing here, but it feels though this is almost like a question about ranking. So I'm kind of gonna go where you went and say that this is the top NFL top 3 quarterbacks going into the season, kind of like a power ranking.
Sure.
So I like Patrick Mahomes number 1.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with that. There's no reason to deny that because that's just facts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then it gets harder, right?
Oh yeah, it does because I know Jalen Hurts just came out of a Super Bowl, but
well,
I guess I'll go ahead and give him that because I mean, give him credit where it's due. I mean, he's played for Philly, so I shouldn't really care about him. But in all fairness, he just got finished playing the Super Bowl, so that's fine. Put him at number 2. After that, I'm probably going to say it's either going to be Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, but I do not know which one to pick.
No, exactly. That third slot is really hard to go with because it could be Burrow, could be Allen, could be Tua if he can stay on the field. I think one of the more intriguing ones going into this season is going to be Derek Carr with the Saints. That's going to be fun.
Man, I'm not putting him in number 3.
No. I'm not saying in the top 3. I'm saying he's going to be an intriguing one to watch because he's going to finally have a competent defense rather than one of the worst defenses in the league. He does have some stuff around him. So if he can play similar to how he played with the Raiders, which is not elite, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying they could be an intriguing team to watch. They could be an intriguing team to watch.
He had Devontae Adams. There's a chance he might not even have Michael Thomas. We hope he does.
Well, yeah, he had Devontae, but he didn't have a lot else, and their defense was god awful.
Hold up now. Wasn't Darren Waller on the team?
Yeah. Oh. But if you make a mistake and your defense can't stop anything, you don't win a lot of games.
Pencil that down for next week. We'll have to come back to that one. Put a pin in that one.
Yeah, well,
Darren Waller and Devontae Adams. Now he does not have that.
He doesn't, and he's playing in a far less difficult division and has a adequate defense. I'm not saying they're great or anything. I'm just saying the Saints are going to be an interesting team to watch this season.
Copy that. Let's try our game out. See if we can knock this out with the time that we got left in the show. You ready?
Yep.
Rapid fire. 8 fill in the blanks. All right. Sports. Ready? Best NBA free agent move, Bo.
Free agent move. I mean, I guess the Suns picking up KD until he proves us wrong, right? Like wherever KD is, definitely has a chance. That dude is he's one of the best in the league. So you have to like the acquisition. Now, does it translate to wins? We'll find out.
Mark that one off. Most overrated player in Major League Baseball.
Ooh, most overrated.
Maybe we can't do 8. Maybe 8 is too much.
Man, probably Bryce Harper in my mind.
Yeah, he's what I was thinking. Maybe had a couple other options there too. Okay, most disappointing NBA free agent move so
far. Anywhere Kyrie goes.
All right. Your most intriguing NFL free agent so far. That means the name that you think is the best.
Probably D-Hop because he hasn't landed yet.
Okay.
That one's going to be interesting to watch where he ends up.
Okay. I'm gonna if I had a couple of names and then somehow I lost the names. So I'm gonna go with Dalvin Cook. I had somebody on the
okay.
I had somebody on the defense, but now I'm blanking out on the name now. But I'm gonna go with Dalvin Cook only because I've actually seen him, score chunks of touchdowns, and then he'll go out injured. So depending on the team that he goes to, if they have a strong running back core already, that team is going to be good. Right. So best free agent running back: Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, or Kareem Hunt.
Ooh. I can go Hunt. Hunt.
I like him even alongside Chubb, but by himself, I think there'll be more pass catching, a lot more flexibility. So I think he's better on the injury front too. I think, but I could be wrong.
Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Most underrated Major League Baseball player. At least the game's on a cakewalk. It's good to make us think.
Yeah, that I'm not sure. I feel like there's not any like crazy underrated players like there used to be. Who
I'm gonna pick a rookie.
Okay.
He's on my team. It's not on purpose. It's just somebody I think about. Anthony Volpe. He is killed out here. Like he's just the worst thing. Like traded. We should never got him. The man's one of the most consistent hitters on the team, but he doesn't get props for it at all. He makes better contact than most of the guys on the team. He doesn't get any credit for it. He gets killed out here. I'm like, why y'all killing this rookie? This rookie is doing more than most rookies do. And he's good with the glove. He makes smart decisions with the ball.
Especially since you have other players that are underperforming.
Yeah. All right. Baker Mayfield will take the Bucks to a win-loss record of what?
That is a I'm going to go with that's a 8-win team.
8 wins. So with the new
not a free agent signing. Yeah, I guess.
All right, last question.
Is Dak overrated?
Well, that's not the question, but
it just stopped.
I'm going to say the whole Cowboys franchise is overrated. This is my show. If Cowboy fans don't like it, you can come visit me, but I'm not lying. Because every time I turn around, we hear about the Cowboys, and they haven't done anything since '96 of note, but we're still talking about them. What makes it relevant? You do. That's why. Okay. So 8-9 for the Bucks, right? Yep. And the Major League pitch clock, Major League Baseball, pitch clock.
I actually like it. I like the pitch clock.
Okay. You like it?
I do. Yeah. I mean, it because some of those pitchers had the most ridiculous windup, right? So no. Just like some of them would take a long time to deliver the ball. And it's like, okay, like put some urgency on it, right? Like everything else has a shot clock or, a play clock or whatever. So I don't mind that. The thing that I do like is I like their new rule about checking runners at first. We're starting to see a lot more stolen bases again, which I like. It's cool to see stolen bases again.
That's really, really, really good. Well, it's been a pleasure once again.
Absolutely.
Outstanding show. I don't know. I think it's starting to get better.
Yeah.
It could just be me, but I'm excited about this, man. But it was great having you on, man. Yep. And for all of our folks that are listening and subscribing to both of our shows on YouTube, thank you again for joining us on the All Purpose Pod for an All Purpose Life, wherever you are and however you're hearing. They call me Mr. U and Football Talk with Bo.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me on. Shout out to my mom for watching.
Your mom is watching?
Yeah.
You should live with that. Hey, Mom.
So, yeah.
You can see her and hear from her. She didn't leave a comment?
She is. She's on the screen right now.
What?
Yeah.
I don't see her.
Thanks for another great show.
That's your mom?
Yeah.
Oh, Mom, thank you so much. Feather Freebird, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting your son. Support my baby Bo.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much. This is awesome. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the shows and social media content. We got plenty of it coming. More poll questions. We're not done yet. Have a great day, guys. Thanks again.
Yep. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Please do. Hit the subscribe button, please. We can use that. Thanks, guys.